Hey, how's it going? Alex here from IdeaSpot, and today we have a Vultr Setup tutorial. So we're going to be setting up a WordPress website on a Vultr VPS. Now for this tutorial, I'm going to be using a Vultr high frequency compute. I'm going to be testing out this $6 a month high frequency package. So let's see how well WordPress runs on it. This is the package that the WordPress community is really excited about at the moment. So let's see how it works. So for this tutorial, I've set up just a basic cadence starter template. You can check out my earlier tutorials on how to set these up. Very, very simple. I'm just using this for the demonstration. And right out of the box, this website was performing really well. We got 100% straight away in GT metrics with a load time under a second. So if you're interested in trying this out, make sure you watch this video right to the end. First step is to head over to vultr.com. Now I have a link in the description. If you follow that link, you'll actually get your first 30 days of credit for free. So if you're interested in trying out this tutorial and setting up your own cloud server, this is really a great opportunity to try it out. Anyway, let's get started by clicking sign up here. Next step, we just fill in an email address, a password, I'm not a robot, and create your account. After creating your account, you'll get an email. Just follow the link in the email and it'll take us to our setup page here. So just go ahead and fill in all your details. You do need to link a credit card to get the 30-day free trial. Now, if you click this little box there, you'll get a $0 deposit, so you don't get billed anything for the first 30 days. Agree to the terms of service and link your card. All right, once your account is all set up, let's go to products and we are going to deploy an instance. All right, now the best value options here are the cloud compute and the high frequency options here. Now, high frequency, it costs $1 more at the moment and you get a little bit more performance, well, quite a bit more performance actually. So it's totally worth that extra $1. I'm going to use that for this tutorial. And you choose a location, choose it closest to your audience. So I think for most English speaking audiences, choose a location in the United States because that's the biggest audience. For this tutorial, I'm in Australia. I'm going to go with Sydney because that's going to be quicker for this tutorial. And then let's scroll down and let's choose our application. So here we just go over to the application tab and we are going to be using Plesk. So Plesk is a really user-friendly way of setting up a cloud server and they have a free option here, the Web Admin SE. Let's choose that one and let's scroll down. We are going to be using the 32GB one CPU. So that's the $6 option. If you go with Cloud Compute, it's only $5. This is a little bit quicker. I think it's worth the extra $1. So let's go with this one. And we don't need to put anything in here. Let's go down and fill in our host name and label. I'm going to call this one ideademo.site. That is the domain that we're going to be using for this tutorial. And let's go ahead and click deploy. So that'll start ticking away. You'll see that installing thing there. That might take a minute or two. So just be patient while that sets up. All right. So after a few minutes, we will see that the status has changed to running. Let's go ahead and click on our instance and let's start work. During the first few minutes, the server may still be booting up and installing, so you can view the progress through that link there, but I've been waiting a couple minutes already, so I think we're pretty much good to go. Let's scroll down and click login here. Now, the first time you try this, you'll get a warning message about trying to access an IP that doesn't have SSL installed on it yet. What we can do here, I'm using Chrome, your browser might be a bit different, but we click advanced and it will say the security certificate is from this Plesk page address. This will depend on your install. Everyone gets a unique Plesk page address. So I'm going to go to that address. You can copy that out and paste it in. I might actually bookmark that so you've got a link to your secure login for later. But there we plug in our username and our password. So to get our username and password, we just head back to our Vultr page here and we just copy out our password there. Our username is going to be root. Let's head back to our Plesk login. Let's accept all cookies and let's plug in that username and password. There we go. Now let's hit login. I'm going to save that password. And all we have to do here is pop in an email address for your admin and click confirm. We'll have to generate a nice strong password here. They've got a password generator, which is pretty cool. Just generate something nice and strong here. And that will set up an admin username and password for your Plesk login as well. So we can go ahead and enter Plesk like that. I'm going to go ahead and save that one as well. All right, the first time we log in, we can go ahead and add our domain. Okay, now the domain we're going to be using for this example is ideademo.site, but your domain will go in there. Pick a username for your FTP and SSH. We're not going to be using these for this tutorial, but just go ahead and pick a username, generate a nice strong password and repeat your password down there. Okay, the next thing it says is you can secure using a Let's Encrypt free SSL certificate. It's pretty cool that they include that. I'm actually going to be using a Cloudflare SSL certificate for this demo, so I'm not going to tick that one. I'm not going to tick that one, and then we'll click OK. So we'll get a success message. I can save my FTP password, and we are good to go. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is set up Cloudflare on this website. So we can head over to cloudflare.com. If you don't have an account already, go ahead and sign up. That's very simple and it's free. I'm just using the free plan to do this over on my account. I've already added ideademo.site to Cloudflare, but adding a site is pretty simple. All we do is click add a site, go ahead and plug in the site name. For example, I can just plug in one of my other test domains, ideaspot.space. We can go ahead and add that site. After a few seconds, you'll get the option to choose your plan. We just use the free plan for this. Go ahead and confirm that. From here, Cloudflare will pick up any existing DNS records. These don't really matter because we're going to delete those a bit later. Let's go ahead and click continue. And this is the important part. So from here, we need to replace our name service. So we need to replace the default name service with these two Cloudflare name servers. Now, it will depend on where your domain is hosted. For example, this one is at GoDaddy, so I'll log into GoDaddy and go through that process. But if you're with Namecheap or domain.com or wherever, there'll be a way of replacing your name servers. They're all quite similar. So let's get started. It's worth noting that they actually have a link there that will take us to a help page that actually has links to most of the major domain registers there. So you can actually find a guide. For example, if you're on Bluehost, you can go ahead and link to Bluehost page, and that will tell you how to change your name server on that case. So they have quite a few guides on there already. If you don't have a guide on there, you can just Google for your particular how to change name servers in whatever you're using. So let's get on with it. Okay, so I'm logged into GoDaddy and I'm under DNS management for ideaspot.space. Now you can get these cheap .space things on special from GoDaddy sometimes, so I like to use them for tutorials. So let's go ahead and change these name servers. We just scroll down to name servers, click change. From here, I'm going to click enter our own name server and we'll paste that first Cloudflare one in there. Let's go grab the second Cloudflare name server, paste that in there. If you've got more options for additional name servers, you can just leave those blank. In this case, there's only two, so that's cool. Let's click save. We'll get a confirmation box, go ahead and continue. So now when we head back to our DNS management, we can see our Cloudflare name servers in there. Now this can take an hour or so for these to actually start working, depending on how slow your DNS manager is. In this case, it's going to take a few hours, so I've already set mine up. But anyway, just be patient while these domain servers transfer over. All right, so after you've done all that, we can go ahead and click done, check name servers. That looks all good. Let's head back to our dashboard. And it says pending name server update. That will take a little while to transfer, as we said before. So just be patient with that one. And the one we're using for this demo is ideademo.site. So I already set that one up before. So let's go back in here and let's head to our dashboard. Now we can go to our SSL. This is our first step. And we want to go to, make sure it's set to full strict. It might be set to something else to start with. And we go to origin server and we want to create our certificate. So let's click create certificate. We can leave all these on default. We can click next. And this is our certificate and key. From here, we're going to go ahead and just select all of this and copy it. Let's go ahead and keep this somewhere safe. I'd keep this on something like a password protected USB stick or somewhere you're not going to lose it, but it's safe. So make sure you keep those. We're going to use these in a second. So back in Plesk, we're under websites and domains. We're going to add that certificate to this website. So click on our website. Let's go ahead. It's going to say SSL is not secured yet. So let's click that one. And we are going to advanced settings here. And from here, we can add an SSL certificate. And this is just a case of pasting in those Cloudflare certificates. So from here, just give your certificate a name. I'll call that ideademo.cert. Let's scroll down. We're going to need our key and certificate. So let's head back to Cloudflare. Let's copy out that key. There we go. We can paste the key in and our certificate. Let's copy out that certificate and paste that certificate in. And then we can scroll right down to the bottom and go ahead and upload the certificate. So there we go. We've got a success message. It was issued, and let's secure our domain and webmail. Okay, to secure the webmail, we can do that right here. Just select the certificate and click secure webmail. That looks all good. Now to secure the actual website, we go back to websites and domains. From here, we go to hosting and DNS. We go to hosting settings. And from here, it says certificate is not selected. We can select the certificate we just uploaded now. So select that one. I've called it Idea Demo. Let's scroll down and click OK. So now we've got a success message. So that certificate looks like it's installed all correctly. So the next step, we have to point Cloudflare over to this IP address. Now your IP address will just be sitting there in the system overview. You can go ahead and copy that out like that. You'll also find it in Vultr under your Plesk server details. The IP address will be sitting right there. So either way is cool. Let's head back to our Cloudflare account. So from our Cloudflare dashboard, I'm working on idea demo.site. Let's click that one and let's go over to DNS. Now we want to add some records here. Let's click add record. We are going to use an A type. We're going to use @ for root and paste in our IP address there and click save. The next one we're going to do, we're going to add another record, a CNAME record. This is for the www, and we are going to target our domain there. Click save. And the last one, we can set one up for webmail as well because it includes webmail in Plesk. So we call that webmail, and we're going to use the IP address for that one. That is type A. We're going to click save. So that's all we've got. That it should be all good to go now. Now you might potentially have other records that were set up here as well, but all you need to do is delete them out. You only need these 3. So if there are other ones in here, just select them and delete them out. These are the only 3 we're going to need for this tutorial. So now back on Plesk, with any luck, our website should actually be working now. So let's open that one in the web. We can see ideademo.site. It's all working. It's got our secure padlock. We've got the Plesk default homepage. We're going to update that to WordPress in just a second, but this is going along just fine. It does say security can be improved. So let's go ahead and click this one and we can see what improvements we can make to our security. So without getting too technical here, all we want to do is turn these features on. That is strict HSTS and keep websites secured with SSL and OCSP stapling. We can turn that one on. We can also go over to this one, TLS versions and ciphers, and we can turn that one on as well. So we're going to use intermediate there. That's the recommended option. Enable that and sync. So that looks all good. Let's go back to websites and domains and ideademo.site. It's saying it is safe and sound. So that looks all good. Now, one thing that's worth doing right now is just running some initial updates on the server and checking if there's any Plesk updates as well. So let's go over to tools and settings and let's go to Plesk and let's check updates for Plesk for a start. And so here it's saying we have Plesk 18.029. There is an update available to 18.030. This will depend on when you're doing it, what exactly happens here, but we can install or update the product. And we are going to say continue here. And then it's just a matter of giving this a minute to install. And it says here, it'll automatically refresh in a while. So just be patient and let this run its update. After a moment, we'll get a log file so we can actually watch the update do its little thing in the log file. Okay, so after a couple of minutes, that looks like it's finished successfully. We can click OK. All right, now we can see we're on version 18.030, so that looks all good. Back on tools, and we can actually see under Plesk update settings that by default, we actually get automatic updates. So it's just when you initially install, you just want to make sure you're running the latest version, but by default, we get automatic updates. So next step, we want to run system updates. Now this is exactly the same thing. By default, there is automatic updates, but when you first set up, you'll see that there are a few things that are updatable. So we're going to update all of those and just wait for that to update. We'll get a list of updates there. We click OK, and down there, we'll see that it is updating. Then we'll get a success message. That looks all good. We'll close that off. And if I reload this page, we can see everything's up to date. Now we are ready to install WordPress. Let's head over to the WordPress tab here. And then we just click install. And we just choose our options here. So we're going to install to the root. So just leave that one blank, put in a title there. I'll just call this idea spot. Plugin and theme set, just leave that on none. Just leave it nice and clean. And it will actually generate a username and a password for us. So this will generate strong passwords. Just make sure you've got a nice strong password for your WordPress admin. Keep these handy because we'll need those to log into the admin panel later, and your email address for WordPress will go in there. So let's hit install. And down there, you can see the progress as it installs. And after it's complete, it's going to ask us if we want to install some plugins. We can just say no thanks there. I notice sometimes as soon as it's installed, it'll say security danger. Just click view there and run a recheck there. And everything should come up clean. Now we close out of that and it'll say security is okay. The other really nice thing that we get here with Plesk is we get caching by Nginx. So we can enable that one. That'll speed up our website to use that Nginx caching. And now we should be able to view our WordPress website. They've got a link to our site there. Let's open that in a new tab. So there we go. We've got our WordPress website up and running. So from here, we can log into our site. We can actually go there and log in, or from your address bar, you can just pop wp-admin at the end of the address. Either way will take you to our login page, and we just log in with our password and email or username that we generated during the WordPress install. So we just put those details in and click login, and here we are on our dashboard. So let's just install a template website on here and see how well it works. So let's go to Appearance and Themes. I'm going to add a new theme, and let's upload a theme. For this demo, I'm just going to use the starter templates from Cadence. Just go to cadencetheme.com and I'll grab a free download there. That'll download. And in our WordPress dashboard, let's just choose that zip file that we downloaded and let's install Cadence. Then I'm going to activate that one, and it'll give us an option to use Cadence starter templates. Let's install that. And from here, I'm going to go with this agency template. We can pick a color scheme and go ahead and click import and start importing. There we go. We can see it's finished. We can view our site, and there is our starter template. Now we can actually add a few little speed tweaks in Cloudflare. So in the domain that you're working on, head over to that speed tab there. Scroll down. We want to enable auto minify JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. And down here, they've got a JavaScript optimizer as well called Rocket Loader. We want to turn that one on, and that should automatically save. We are good to go. So I'm logged in over at gtmetrics.com. We pop the URL in to analyze. I'm going to be doing this from Sydney, and let's click analyze. So it's adding our job to the queue, and now it's fetching our site and analyzing, and we should get a report in a second. And there we go. Wow. 100 straight off the bat with Cadence and Plesk loaded in 0.8 seconds on this Vultr VPS. That is quite impressive. Okay, guys, if you haven't hit like on this video yet, can you just do that for me right now? Because I really think this is one of the best videos I've made. This is quite a terrific performance from WordPress, just using Vultr and free Cloudflare. This is quite a good performance. It's been quite difficult to get 100 in GT metrics, but this is the easiest way I've found. So thumbs up if this has been useful. Again, you can test this out yourself. Just follow that link in the description, set up Vultr and Cloudflare and have a go. It's quite easy, and I would definitely recommend trying this out. Now back on Plesk, there are a few other things you need to realize when you're running your own server. The top 3 things probably are backups, having a web application firewall, and having a virus scanner. Now Plesk has all of these covered fairly well. Let's head over to our dashboard. The first thing we can look at is the actual virus scanner. So it has Immunify AV. The free version is already included here. All we do is click on that box, click OK, and then we can scan our website. So we've got ideademo.site there. We can go ahead and scan, and that will scan away in the background. If you upgrade to the pro version, you can do daily rescans automatically, and you can clean up malware. But this is good enough just for doing an occasional scan on the free version. And so after a minute or so, that comes up clean. That's all good. Let's go back to our dashboard and let's look at backups. So we've got a backup manager included as well. This is fairly easy to use. It's just a matter of, if you want to click backup, just click backup there. We can actually schedule backups in this version as well. And let's go ahead and click backup. Let's go ahead and make a full backup, and let's go ahead and click OK. So this will take a minute to back up. This is just a starter website, so it's quite small, quite easy to use. We can go ahead and download our backup just by clicking the down arrow there. It is recommended to password protect your backup, so just pop in a password there and you can download that backup. So again, nice strong password, and click OK to download. And our backup should download there just fine. Now, if you want to store your backup somewhere safe, you can always upload them later and restore them. It also saves a copy on the server, which you can restore at any time just by clicking the actual backup there. And to restore a backup, we just scroll down here and we want to restore all the objects, and then just click restore and you're good to go. And back on our dashboard, let's just talk quickly about the web application firewall that we get here. So we get a firewall using mod security. You can actually go to tools and settings and have a look at this firewall. So just there, web application firewall mod security, that's already there. And by default, it's turned on, and the settings, I think it's set to, Komodo free. You can actually choose a different set of rules if you're interested in, but leaving it on the default basic protection is totally fine. All right, congratulations if you've made it this far. We've got our back end set up using Plesk. Wasn't too difficult. We've got our front end running WordPress really nicely. So that pretty much wraps it up. Okay, so I really enjoyed setting up that cloud server on Vultr. I found it quite a simple way of setting up your own cloud server. But if that was a bit too difficult, check out my more beginner level tutorial where I set up WordPress. Very easy to follow on that one. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.